a failed Kickstarter, the Mass Effect Andromeda studio merger, Battlefield 1 CTE. We'll get into it in the breakdown. What's going on, people? It's your boy DaRealMastalin, and welcome to your daily dose. As always, before we get started, need y'all to do those 3 simple things if you haven't already. First up, kickstart and fund that like button, subscribe here for more, hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time I drop a video. Now let's break it down. And first up, we have a sad tale from Unsung Story, Tale of the Guardians. For those of you who don't know what this is, it was a Kickstarter game that was successfully kickstarted from the creator of Final Fantasy Tactics, Yasumi Matsuno, and he just had everything going for him. He had the order behind him, he had the people behind him, and they raised over $660,000 for this game that was supposed to come out. It was supposed to be in the vein of Final Fantasy Tactics, and it looked dope if you like those type of games, but with every successful Kickstarter story, you get 15 or so failed ones, and this happens to be just one of the larger failed ones. 660K, 16,000 backers, and basically what they said is over time the studio has run into plenty of problems throughout it, and like this game was supposed to come out in 2015, so they off the mark by a couple years, but they said that they tried to keep the game alive and they just haven't been able to. Throughout the development, there has been problems that have arisen that they have no control over, and Playdeck basically said that effective immediately, they will no longer be making this game and it will now transfer to Little Orbit. So the game will still get made. The problem is that Little Orbit makes basically Barbie games and a lot of like the little cheesy Nickelodeon games. And I'm a little concerned as to how this will happen, because they also said that Little Orbit is going to start over. So they're not going to take anything from the legendary quote unquote Yasumi Matsuno, and they're just going to basically start from scratch and make the game however they see fit, which looms in whether or not this game is going to be worth a damn. Like I'm very concerned and very much in, I guess, awe of whether or not things like this ruin Kickstarter as a whole, because like I said, for every one good successful Kickstarter game that gets made, comes out, and is fantastic, there's been plenty, but there's always games like this that they're back and they're highly anticipated, and then they run into problems, and then they get delayed, and then they get delayed again, and then they finally come out, or they don't come out like this game, or that, they do. I'm looking at you, Mighty Number 9, and they're just not everything they've stacked up to be. And I really hope that for those of you who were like really looking out for this game, that you get to see it. I really hope that Little Orbit maybe just not disappoints me, but outshines my thought process for what I think this game could be. And I feel like it's just a lost cause, but I really hope I'm wrong. This is one of the rare cases where I hope I'm wrong, just because I know there are so many people anticipating this game and wanting it to be everything they remember from the Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre and all those games. They wanted this game so badly. Those are not my cup of tea anymore. Like, I played them when I was younger, but I know that there were people who were so intent on this game, especially considering who was behind it. And it was off of his name that they made so much money and that they were successfully kickstarted. But I don't know, like the studio just took on too much for what it needed, and it should have effectively just went after a backer. Once they had enough money to get everything started, they should have just went for a publisher. That would have made all of this incredibly easy. Even if they were just going to go with a single platform, they should have just went with that platform and got all the support they could from that platform. Like, I'm positive that Sony or Nintendo or something probably would have pushed behind this thing, because a lot of these games, these Japanese games, have the backing of these Japanese companies, because holistically that's how Japan works. And I really wish that they would have seeked out more backing rather than just giving up as time went on just to try to stay independent. I know pride works into this, but they had all the opportunities to go and grab the bull by the horns, as it were. Hopefully this game doesn't suck, but we'll see. In our next story, BioWare Montreal, the creators of Mass Effect Andromeda, will be merged with EA Motive. And EA Motive is Jade Raymond's studio at EA. They are the ones responsible for the single player portion of Battlefront 2, and they're making Jade Raymond's Star Wars action adventure game that they haven't talked about yet. Hopefully we'll hear something about that at Gamescom coming up, but I'm both saddened by this move, but not surprised. At least they're not shuttering the studio completely. They're just merging them with a larger division that's now working on something epic, as it were. And I really hope that they get to somehow, slowly create things more so for Mass Effect Andromeda. EA said they have a smaller team working on updates and patches and fixes, but that means that we'll never really get any true DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda, and that saddens me, because the multiplayer DLC for Mass Effect 3 and even the early multiplayer DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda, I dug it. So Mass Effect has a very, very unique take on horde mode, as it were, and I really dug it. And I'm very sad that this happened, because it just means that no single player DLC, and you don't get no Shadow Broker, you don't get those things. And it just saddens me how far Mass Effect has fallen, because the series that I've loved so much has just fallen into the abyss. And it wasn't so much based off of the game itself, it was based off of the build up the game had once it was around. I am 1000% with everyone who was upset about the broken pieces of the game. I myself didn't experience any of those glitches. Luckily, I don't know, it was just me, but I enjoyed the game. I got 60 hours out of it for just to beat the game, and it was a great Mass Effect type story that built on a burgeoning world that they were going to expand upon when the Mass Effect Andromeda 2 was supposed to launch, which I sadly just don't see happening. EA will abandon Mass Effect for Anthem, and that's neither a good nor a bad thing. Anthem may be great, but I really, really want Mass Effect Andromeda 2. I feel like they had created a world that we could have got lost in, and we just won't see that happening. I'm sad, but I'm not surprised. Hopefully BioWare Montreal folks, they do well at EA Motive, and whatever game Amy Hennig is making will be a fantastic Star Wars story. I also hope the single player portion of Star Wars Battlefront 2 is as dope as it looks, because so far the trailer looks dope, and I really, really hope that it's as bomb as it's making itself out to be. And these last couple quick stories, the Battlefield 1 CTE, the community test environment, is out for Xbox One and PS4, so you will be able to test out the new maps if you have the premium pass. If you do, you can download the CTE and you can play the new In the Name of the Czar DLC that's currently being tested on PC, and you can see some of the maps as they come in development. Just be aware that these are test environment maps, so they're not finished. Some of the animations won't be there, even some of the new guns, some of those animations won't be there, and there'll be glitches because that's what the community test environment is for. But you'll still get to play all these maps and hopefully see if you enjoy them. If you have a friend or something that you can share your premium pass with, just so they can try out the new maps and see if they want the premium pass, do that just so that they can also share in the experience with you. Because Battlefield 1, I dig the game. It's a fantastic game, and it's one of those things where you have to play it and you have to immerse yourself in it in order to enjoy it fully. But if you have the premium pass, you can download the community test environment right now on PS4 and Xbox One. It's 40 gigabytes, so if you ain't got that space, I wouldn't recommend doing it. That's all the news I got for today. Y'all let me know what y'all think of everything I covered in the comment section or on Twitter at DaRealMastalin, or stop by the stream, mixer.com/DaRealMastalin. I love y'all like some play cousins. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and I'm out.